It was a late night, years ago. I was fresh out of elementary school, or somewhere around middle school. This was when TF2 was getting quite popular, but the game wasn't free. It cost around $10 or so. Meanwhile, I was a broke kid, and I knew my parents wouldn't let me get the game, so I had no other choice but to pirate it. I searched online for a free version of the game, and I found something. I went on some sketchy website and downloaded an exe file. It was called TeamFortress2.EXE. Now that I think back, it was really stupid of me, but at the time I was quite excited, to say the least. I could finally play this game that everybody loves so much. After a long wait, the file was finally done installing. I opened it up and I was surprised to see that it actually worked. I clicked start and I queued up. And let me tell you, it took about 30 minutes to find a game. All I could think about is the reason for the long queue being that the game was so popular. It sent me into a server, and I selected Soldier. I wandered around the map looking for people to shoot, but there was no one. Not even anyone on my team. This is when my memory starts to fog up, so I'll try to recap as best as possible. I walked around the empty map, double-crossed, looking for anything, and I did see something. It was a blue team of scouts standing in the center of the map, capping the point. The scout looked weird, though. His eyes were pitch black with a red light shining out of each eye. His eyes were dripping with what looked to be blood, and his shirt was also stained with it. He equipped a wooden bat that was strapped to his back, covered in blood. I figured it was some sort of Halloween update, so I didn't really mind it. I walked up the hill and I tried shooting the scout, but nothing happened. I figured I was lagging or something because the scout disappeared afterwards. I walked up to the point and started to capture it. I was about 3/4 through capping the point when the scout appeared again, hitting me in the face with a wooden bat. I was really low on HP, so I ran away. I remember I was really angry and I figured the guy was a hacker or something. That's when I heard something coming from my laptop speakers. My volume was low, so I couldn't make out what the sound was. I plugged in some earbuds just in case it happened again, and it actually did a few seconds later, as I was on my way back to the point. It was a scout. He started talking.
I'm a freaking blur here!
I was starting to get pissed. I peeked a corner and saw the scout at the point. I spammed him with rockets, but nothing happened. That's when my rocket launcher somehow dropped out of my inventory. It was on the ground and I couldn't pick it up. And then out of nowhere, the scout appeared in front of me and shot me right in the chest. For some reason though, the gore was almost in a way turned up. I've seen people play the game, but the gore never looked like this. This was super realistic. I tried to respawn as Soldier, but he wasn't there. I couldn't place him. I was upset, but I still wanted to play, so I chose Demo Man, and I was ready to get my revenge on this prick. This time I decided to go from under the control point to try and catch him off guard, but he was there too, almost like he knew I was going to be there, like he was waiting for me. I immediately started shooting him, but nothing happened. The grenades just didn't affect him. The scout appeared on my screen with a loud static shock sound. I was startled, but I was more angry than anything. I decided to hell with this, and I left the game. I clicked start game again, and I queued up for another one. Unlike last time though, the queue time was almost instantaneous. I chose Pyro and spawned into a high tower map. I remember at the time I saw a lot of videos of high tower, so I was excited. I walked out of the spawn expecting to see a lot of people, but there was only one guy on the other team. I wondered if I just had bad luck or if it was something more. I wandered to the center of the map on the tower, and I walked to the top, scanning around looking for anything. I turned around to walk back down when suddenly it appeared. Again, the damn scout. He followed me into this game. "Let's play," he said as a demonic version of him popped up on my screen. I didn't know what to do. Was I being hacked? Damn, I should have downloaded it from the website, I thought, but it was more than that. He talked again. "Come on, you don't want to end up like the rest, do you?" I typed in the chat, "WTF is going on?" My message went through and the scout seemed to be upset by that. He disappeared, but his name was still on the leaderboard. Scout. I typed in the chat, "Who are you?" I waited a few seconds and suddenly I was killed by something. It didn't say how I died, I just collapsed. That's when a demonic image of the scout appeared on my screen. He was holding Soldier, Demoman, and Pyro's decapitated heads. He screamed, "I am Satan." I typed in the chat, "Fuck you," and I left the game. As a kid, I was scared. I think anybody would be. That's when I realized I had some fucked version of TF2. I couldn't delete the file. It was somehow transferred into an ISO file, but I couldn't delete it. I had to factory reset my PC, and I forgot about it from then. I just remembered again because somebody at my job mentioned TF2 in their childhood games. But for me, Team Fortress 2 will always be the scariest game I've ever played.